Watch me ride.
Hi everybody, so as you can see the lighting has been sorted, well, best I can do for now, and the other camera angle thing is developed, and it's bloody awesome actually. I think this might be useful to a lot of people. And so we've got the camera on the end, which is a Drift 4K, and you got it on this cheapy microphone stand, which is about £6 off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. And then we've got a lapel mic up here, plugged in with the joint power cable and lapel mic, external mic cable. It goes down to a battery pack and it just clamps on. So this is completely movable. Personally, I think it's kind of brilliant. So, very quick update. The carbon fibres due here in a few days, 3 days I believe. So that's great, I can go on and do those, and I'll show you me finishing those off. And we are now going to get on with the big block itself. I measured these holes and they're like an M9 maybe, which is like weird. And the thread pitch is different to standard, so all I've actually had to do is order some slightly undersized bolts. Which will be here in 2 or 3 days, but that's fine because I've got a lot to do between then and actually putting it together. Today is basically cleaning, a lot of cleaning. Alright, well first things first, spray the thing down with WD-40. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm going to continue making them because I'm enjoying doing them and it's a way I can make content at the same time I'm working. WD-40 is amazing stuff. I've made lots of joke videos, you know, winding people up about WD-40, like calling it a lubricant. I know it's not a lubricant. And doing a cable lubing video with WD-40 in the thumbnail. People are so triggered by it. But it's a cleaner, it's a solvent, and it's very good at what it does. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but this has got like consensual rings from being machined. And if you take a wire wheel to this, you're going to round these over and you get this weird pattern of where it's been flattened out in places, so this will have to be cleaned with wire wool only. Thankfully it's not too dirty, but cleaning in between all of these is going to be fun, but that's not too bad. This one is proper grimy. And I need to take that out as well, because this is a differential basically from a car, so it normally has 4 cogs inside it, and there's no point in that all being in there, might as well take them out and use them for something else. Come on, finger power. There you go. Actually, that might look quite cool without the pin going in it, because I was considering putting that back in. Actually, maybe. Oh, I don't know. I'll decide later. But I don't know. But these aren't going in this, so they go into the big pile of stuff to be used in the future. I'm not going to clean this up too much because I want it to look kind of industrial, if you know what I mean. You know, I like to show the wear on things. Right, these edges are sharp. These edges are sharp. These edges are sharp. I think I'm going to have to wire wheel this whole thing. Take this blue paint off as well. But get the worst of the grease off first so it doesn't splatter everywhere. I have before now thought, you know, why bother cleaning grease off when you're going to about to wire wheel it anyway? You know, just wire wheel it. The grease isn't going to stop it. Yeah. If you use logic, you can work out why that's a bad idea. Yeah, you get absolutely covered in. What was that? It was like a very thin washer. Oh, there's two. There is two. Here's another tip for WD-40. If you've got really dirty hands that just aren't cleaning, spray hands with WD-40, that will clean them off, and then it's much easier to use like detergents to get the WD-40 off, because it's so much simpler, less thick oil, well, solvent, you know, but it comes off. If you have questions about this, am I going to wire wheel this whole thing? I guess I could wire wheel. I mean, to be fair, all of these are going to need to be wire wheel because they're quite sharp. They're not cutting sharp, but yeah. Right, let's get to some wire wheeling. Oh, jeez. There is some, I've just found some really sharp burrs on here, because I think this is cast, and it's very rough. You know, they don't bother cleaning up too much as I need to, because where it is, that sort of stuff costs too much money. But I've got to do it, because it's really sharp. Hopefully the wire wheel will do a wonderful job on it. Well, there we go. And you see it's got a much nicer looking patina on it now. It's clean. There's still going to need more cleaning. There's always more cleaning to be done. And all those sharp edges are now rounded over. I may go over them again with a small grinding wheel on a Dremel just to be sure, just to smooth them out a little bit more, but that'll be later in the build. That'll do for now, but I think some brake cleaner is going to go on this, just to try and get the rest of it off before I weld it. So the question is, well actually, there is a second question. Do I weld this from the under? I was going to weld this here, but I'd love to be able to hide the welds, and I've just noticed I actually would have some access through here. If I put a good weld in there, I could probably just get another one in there. I'd only have to really get a couple of good strong tacks, and that would hold together, and it would mean that we wouldn't get any welds on the outside to clean up. That is what I'm going to try and do with that. But now I've got to decide what I'm going to do with this. Am I going to wire wheel it, or am I not? It doesn't have any like concentric lines particularly. These, as I say, I want to round slightly, though this does have markings. So maybe I'll just clean up the top bit, wire wheel the middle bit, and these bits. Yeah, that'll do. Well, that simplifies it, because everything below here I don't want to wire wheel anyway. I know it may seem that I spend an awful lot of time doing this, but this is how long these things take. If you want to get a good finish on something, you have to put the effort in and make it look like the effort's been put in. You know, it doesn't lie. Okay, it's looking nice. I don't know if you can see this number. Is it showing up in the camera? Those zeros here. I want to get rid of that. There we go. Much better. Oh, you can still see like 4 of them around here. And if you're about to say, oh, you should leave the numbers on because it's cool. No, it wasn't a serial number, it just said 0000000. Okay, so the next step for that is getting that welded on there. As I say, I want to weld it in through these sides and then it won't be seen. And actually, if I go at an angle, this is another thing, you have to try and work out how you can get to the areas you want to weld. Now, I've sort of realised that my finger is about as fat as the end of my MIG, so if I sort of bend my finger, I can kind of get an idea of how I'm going to get in and what angle I'm going to get in, and I should get down deep enough there to get it. And thankfully, as this was all symmetrical, all the way down and all the way throughout the shaft, it doesn't matter where I weld it on, it's going to look the same. Which is obviously important for the look afterwards as well. I'm going to take some still shots while I'm welding this for my Instagram. Okay, so that middle bit's now clean enough to be welded, and there's nothing to do to that until that's welded. This I just need to clean up, and obviously I'm waiting for the bolts on this, so we've got a bit of a delay on that one. But the next thing after I've just given this a clean is I've got to clean the disc that I'm making the clock from, and I can make the entire clock. And hopefully in the time that it takes me to do that, the other bits and pieces will arrive. So the way I'm going to clean this is more WD-40 and wire wool, because that will help get down into the grooves. But also these little scouring sponges you can get, these are really good for so many different jobs, but they're actually really good for cleaning up stuff that you want to leave the finish on it but get all the dirt off. In fact, that might be working better than the wire wool is. I'm currently recording another Metalworks video. Have you got any questions that I can answer in it? Right, while I'm just waiting for a couple of questions, can I remind you about these? These are keychains made from old motorcycle chains. Actually, I think these might be new motorcycle chains, but they're made from real motorcycle chains. Cool little key rings to put on your door keys or something. They're available on my Etsy store if you're interested. It helps support the channel, it helps support me, it's massively appreciated. And I need to get rid of them because I made loads of them and I still haven't sold them all. So please, if you're ever going to buy one, now's a good time. Also, my insurance is due soon. Carlos Castejo, is that how you pronounce your name? He's liked it. No one's asked a question. Okay, I asked about 20 minutes ago. I have had 2 likes and no questions on Twitter. Thanks, Twitter. I feel completely... Facebook, you came through. I have 3 questions that I've seen. Right. Cameron Luke, any plans in the future? Love the clocks, but any bigger projects in mind? I assume you mean as in the Metalworks. And I don't know. You see, the thing is, there's a couple of ways of going with doing stuff like this. You can go down the road of only making one thing a month really, or one thing every couple of months. That's huge and takes loads of work, and then it's really difficult to sell. So the idea there is you then aim to make something for a company and then contact them and be like, hey, do you want this? Look, it's all post office stuff or something, and you sell it to the head office of Royal Mail to put in their front room and they'll give you $5 grand for it. That's honestly how a lot of people, metal artists, do things. I've gone with a slightly different approach because I have an audience of people who watch my videos, and if I made things like that and I made videos doing them, no one would be able to afford one. And I have, I try to make them as affordable as I can. I know they're not entirely cheap; they are luxury items, but as you're going to learn, and I think people are already starting to learn, there is so much work in these that I could charge more, but I don't because I enjoy making them. As long as I make enough to sustain me as I grow the channel, that's good. And that's also why I have the keychains, for instance. So I would like to, but it's going to be something that's going to be sort of slowly worked on over time, but also have space limiting factors. But let's see what happens, because I started out with very basic clocks and I did sculpture, I've done all sorts of different things. I'm impressed with progression in the past few months, and this clock being the biggest one yet. Who knows where we go after here? Bigger and better? Right, well that side's not cleaning up quite so well, so we're going to call that the base. That'll be the top, that's fine. Next question from... Oh, the first question was from Cameron Luke, if I didn't read his name out. John Dipple, what was the hardest part to learn with the whole Metalworks? Welding is a skill which takes a lot of time, and it cannot be taught. You can tell people that the fundamentals, the theory behind it, and I did know about the theory behind it because I've watched hundreds of videos on welding and TIG welding and brazing and all sorts of different things, so I understand the basic premise of it. But it doesn't mean that you get it. You have to actually physically do it and keep making mistake after mistake, and that's the way you learn. Probably it, I would have said, because the creative side of it, it comes to me quite easily. I look at parts and I just instantly see something. I'm like, that was supposed to go together that way. I don't know, it's an eye for detail or something? I don't know, but it seems to be working. Keith Walven, what gear are you using? If you mean bike gear, I have a video on that. If you mean tools, I have a video on that. Generally third? I don't know. I'm not quite sure what you meant by that one, but there you go. Thanks for the question. There we go, that is almost cleaned up enough. I will give it more of a clean, and so after I've welded it, well, bolted this bit anyway. So the next thing is this massive brake disc. Now I can't clean these up with wire wheels. I've made that mistake before now, because if you think of all of the marks that are on this are all going in a circle, and if you do anything other than go in that circle, it crosses it and it's obvious. So the best way to clean these up is elbow grease and a lot of circular motion. Elbow grease and a lot of circular... Oh god, see what I mean about you can't say anything without it sounding wrong. Maybe an obvious thing, but I do always, when I'm cleaning stuff like this, do it on cardboard. One, it doesn't scratch the underside of it, and two, then all the oil's not on your side and you can throw it all away.